Mangus Raw Fishing. Today I'm doing a little bit of a bait review. I really hope you guys like that new intro I put together. But before we get started, I just want to explain to you guys where I've been. It's wintertime, guys. It's in Ohio. I mean, come on, I really can't be out here fishing. You know, I've been caught up with school, but I'm not going to make any excuses, honestly, guys. It's freaking wintertime. I can't be fishing. It's frozen. Everything's frozen over. It really kind of bums me out. So, in the wintertime, I don't make so much videos. But today is an exception. I'm going to make a bait review video since, you know, February is crawling up behind us. Hopefully, it will warm up here in Ohio, and I can finally get to doing some fishing post-spawn and pre-spawn and spawn. Can't forget the spawn. So what I wanted to go through today was a bait review of spawn fishing lures that I love to use for huge largemouth and smallmouth bass. So one of my favorite baits of all time to use for spawn fishing is definitely a super fluke. Many people call it a soft plastic jerk bait, shad bait. You know, there's a bunch of different names for this bait, but I stick to super fluke. One of my favorite makers, Big Bite Baits right here, makes some pretty excellent baits, is my favorite fluke to go by. There's also the Zoom Super Fluke. You know, those are very, very well-known brands and very high fish producers. But Big Bite Baits is my all-time favorite of flukes I like to use. In each pack of Big Bite Baits flukes, there comes 5 flukes here, which isn't very much for spawn fishing, but you know what? It comes with a price to get this good of quality. As you can see, a fluke is kind of like a minnow bait. You know, you could classify it as a minnow bait. It is straight, but then streamlines into a forked tail, and sometimes it will streamline into like almost a shad tail. These baits are perfect spawn fishing baits. These baits sink super slow, and with the Big Bite Baits fluke, they actually sink head first down. So when you're spawn fishing that huge monster bass's bed, that fluke will just sink down just like this, nose its way down, shimmy its tail on the fall, and hit it right down on the bed. Now the action kind of depends on the way you rig it as well. There's a lot of different ways to rig super flukes, but I'm going to go through my top 2 with you guys. So what I do is, a lot of people get a giant hook for a super fluke, but when I'm in Ohio and I'm spawn fishing, I like to use a smaller hook. The water's a lot clearer up here, so I will use a 3/0. Got my Katsu wide gap hook, and then I'll just Texas rig it right through the nose there. Slide the nose up on the hook, just like that. And then it has a belly slit, which is also great. You just bury the hook up in the top of the bait, just like that. There we go. Bury it just in the top of the bait. That way the hook is barely protruding at the bottom, but it's not protruding at the top. There's no way this hook is coming through the top unless a big bass clamps down, bites it. You set the hook, get it right there. The fall of the bait also determines on the hook size. Like I said, I like to use a 3/0 hook just because it is much, much, much lighter than a 5/0 hook. When you get a 5/0 hook, a lot of times what will happen is the balance of the lure will be offset. So it will sink, you'll cast it out and it'll sink more like this, just straight down, because that weight of the hook is actually pulling it down. The 3/0 hook, Gamakatsu wide gap, it is very slim, very light, and the nose of the bait will still hold its heaviness, and it'll just go straight down just like that. Now what I like to fish these things on, I like to fish them on 10-pound Power Pro braid. I love braid for fishing flukes because when you're trying to get that jerky hook set, trying to get that really strong, broad hook set, all you have to do, you just have to barely set the hook on your line because that line is so taut already. Plus, I fish these things in slop. I will fish these in the gnarliest lily pads, the gnarliest grass, anything you can think of, I will fish these things in. Also, braid floats. Like I said, the fall of the bait is essential because that is the first glance that the bass gets on the actual bait. Braid floats. So what it does is it creates a barrier almost between water and lure. That barrier will cause the bait to slide down through the water column instead of straight shooting, hitting the bottom, bouncing back up. I will also fish these things both on spinning and bait casting tackle, as I will mini baits. Both spinning and bait casting tackle will work for these baits. Bait casting tackle is much more preferred because these baits are actually pretty heavy, guys. I mean, it's a 4-inch fluke right here. These baits are pretty heavy. So I like to chuck these things on my Shimano Cage's bait caster with a 7-foot, what's my rod? 7-foot St. Croix Mojo Bass rod. There we go. With 10-pound Power Pro on it with a 2-aught Gamakatsu wide gap hook. That is a mouthful to say. I can't believe I just said that all without stuttering. But if I'm going for a more finesse tactic, I'll actually get out a Zoom Super Fluke because those are a lot smaller. But like I said, if I'm going for a bigger tactic, I will definitely fish it on a bait caster. Now, one of the last aspects I'm going to talk about here is how to fish these things. There's a lot of misconceptions on how to fish these things, but like I said, it just depends on the way you rig it. The second way I rig it is through the back, just like this. A lot of people will be like, that looks like it will not catch fish, Kelly. That I can guarantee you will not catch a fish. Honestly, this is one of my favorite ways to rig this thing. You're fishing in open water, I'm telling you. Fishing open water around big boulders or big rocks. You hit it just like that so it's just balanced on the hook. What it does is, when you twitch it, it'll almost envelope out just like that, and it'll just shimmy down. Great for bed fishing. But like I said, it just depends on how you rig it. Depends on how you want to fish it. So if I Texas rig this thing, what I'll do is cast it out there to the bed, let it sink all the way to the bottom. Crucial information there, all the way to the bottom. Let it sink all the way to the bottom. You just jerk it up once, and it'll fall again, jerk it up. It's almost like a jerk bait, but just soft plastic. So that's pretty simple. And then if I want to hook it through the back, almost like a wacky rigged Senko, you just want to hook it through the back, like I said, just so it right in the middle. See, that one's off balance, so you do not want it like that. You want it super straight in the middle, almost precision, just like that. What I'll do is I'll let it sink all the way to the bottom again, but if you're in open water and there's a lot of big boulders, I would advise you not to do that. So all you have to do is twitch it up, twitch it up, twitch it up. Pretty great bait we have here, guys. Like I said, Big Bite Baits Pro Series Super Fluke. This is what I'm going to be using a lot of spawn fishing. This is what I'm going to be using during a lot of the spawn fishing I'm going to be doing here soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys could please like, comment, subscribe. It definitely helps me out. I've been losing a little bit of subscribers lately. That's why I decided to make a video. Also, I figured you guys would love a video to come out of me. That sounded really weird. That was not meant to be strange. I just think that my channel is getting a little bit dead. So I figured I'd throw out a video at you guys. And hopefully I'll throw out a video at you guys next week too. So stay tuned. And yeah, peace out, guys.